Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship's online. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship's online Sunday service. Please join me in our opening song, Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, and God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Hi, CLF.
Hi, CLF. Hi, CLF.
Good morning, CLF.
Hola, CLF.
We love you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Wow, good morning. It's so good to see the kids every Sunday. It makes my heart smile. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Sherry F. McCreary. I'm the senior minister here at Creative Living Fellowship, and it is my honor and pleasure to welcome you here this morning. CLF is a religious science church and teaching center, and we welcome all paths that lead to truth. And as I said, we welcome you here this morning. I know you had a lot of options, and we're really happy that you chose to spend some time with us this Sunday morning. We have our vision here is to be a community of care, connection, and creation that opens hearts and incubates dreams. And we do that through the principles and practices of the science of mind. We have two practitioners who are holding high watch today. They are Monica Zickas and Carrie Sherman. And what that means is that they're sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding of this service today, and for the perfect unfolding of anything that may be going on with us individually or in the world at large. And so I thank Carrie and Monica today for their service here today. I'd also like to thank Reverend Sally Robbins for filling in as our guest speaker last week. It was really great having her here, and we hope she'll come back soon. And I'd like to thank also Carrie Sherman for serving as host last week. She did a great job doing that. So thank you, Carrie, for your service. Our AV team today is, our AV team today are Nicole Jordan. I know who they are. Nicole Jordan and Deb Covington. And Deb Covington is also our song leader today. And we have our tech team who consist of Reverend Mary Jane Hyde and Fran Peck. And of course, our music director who brings our meditation service also is David Panessa. And I'm acting like I don't know these people, but they work with me all the time, every day. So thank you guys. I really do appreciate you. And I know all your names too. So thank you very much for your service here today also. Our musical inspiration today is Adam Smith. So he's one of our favorite friends and we love having him back here today. But right now, Nicole Jordan is going to bring us our announcements. And following the announcements, there will be a brief gong wash. And that will be followed by a few moments of silence. And then practitioner Peter Waring will bring us our reading and our opening prayer. So just take the words of the reading into your hearts and into your minds this morning and just let them find a place of resonance there with you. But first, here's Nicole with the announcements.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. Are you ready for your announcements? So active members, today at 11:30 a.m. is our special membership meeting. This is a business meeting that requires the attendance of active members to vote on business decisions needing to be made. And due to today's membership meeting, we will not be having online Sunday fellowship. But we are having our weekly youth lesson. That's right, your children are invited to join our youth ministry weekly on Zoom for lessons on Sunday at 1 p.m. Lessons are focused on nurturing spirituality and science of mind practices for kids. Weekly topics are inspired by Reverend Sherry's themes and include social, emotional, growth mindset, and mindfulness practices. Don't meditate alone. Meditate with us in Zoom. Join us for midday meditation at noon, Monday through Thursday. We are still live streaming to Facebook if you prefer to participate that way. And I don't know where my screen share went. That's scary. Sorry. Just give me a second. Technical difficulties. This is turning out to be a really interesting morning. Okay, so yes, please meditate with us so you can stay calm when things stop working. Stay connected and supported with your CLF family and join Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Community Care Connection Zoom meeting at 6:30. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading Conscious Conversation. If you would like to suggest a conversation topic or activity, please email connect@creativelivingfellowship.com. We look forward to seeing you on Tuesdays. And this Friday is October 2nd. Oh my goodness. And at 7 p.m., Quantum Chair Yoga and Meditation with Reverend Christopher Guru Karam Gallagher is available on Zoom. Join him for powerful Kundalini yoga practices and meditation. QCY is now offered twice a month for a love offering. And if you're not yet registered to vote, we at Creative Living Fellowship strongly encourage you to exercise faithful citizenship by registering to vote. We highly recommend that you do it now and do not wait. If you are registered, but do not vote by mail, especially during this pandemic, we encourage you to seriously consider voting by mail. It's simple, safe, and secure. However, because of the problems with the U.S. Post Office, please consider dropping off your completed ballot at one of the early voting polling places. Check out the links in the comments for several voting resources. Remember, you can use Text to Give to make your contributions to CLF. Simply text the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. If it's your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link to set up your account. And after that, it's as easy as texting the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. CLF is a tithing church, which means we tithe off of your tithes and donations. And we are always looking for nonprofits to send our quarterly tithes to. If you have a nonprofit you would like to nominate, please use the link found in the comments to submit your recommendation. Please note that if you do not fill out the form to have your you have to fill out the form to have your recommendation considered. And our Sunday's prayer room is available to you today. It's just at a different time. Join our licensed practitioners in Zoom after our special membership meeting. There's no reason to miss out on your prayer with a practitioner. So immediately after our meeting, which should be about 12:30, head on over to Zoom and let one of our licensed practitioners hold the truth for you, no matter what you're going through, and offer you support through spiritual mind treatment and using spiritual practices. You can find the details for all of our events with their links on our website under events, under our Facebook events, or posted in the comments, and also in your weekly newsletter. And that is it for announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash.
Good morning. Today's reading is from 365 Science of Mind, and it's entitled, I Open My Spiritual Eyes. The time has come to open your inward vision and look out upon a newer and broader horizon. You are at that place in your growth when there is complete certainty before you. You shall continually expand and experience more and more of that life that is already perfect. There is no reason why this awakening will not come now, for you are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. All nature awaits your recognition, and even the divine spirit must await your cooperation with it. realizing that you may, in your ignorance, have been using the power of your mind negatively, you are not going to condemn yourself or anyone else for this. If the light has come, the thing to do is to use it, forgetting the darkness. How can darkness have power over light? Say, today I realize that my good is at hand. In this breath I draw, in the eternal now and the everlasting here, I enter into a larger concept of life. I now see the rosy hue of a new dawn. The spirit refreshes me. I am saturated with the essence of life. My body is a vehicle for its expression. My mind an instrument. My eyes are open to the breadth and height of the depth and that life that is God. Today I will endeavor to feel this presence as a living reality in my life. I will see it everywhere. So let's take that breath, let's draw that breath to us and move into that eternal now. What breathes me? What is it that animates my body? There is a presence in the universe, and it is God. I am a localized consciousness within universal consciousness, which animates my life and my world. One consciousness, individualized and localized in each and every one of us. I am not waiting for God. God is waiting for me. And as that localization within God, I now speak my word for myself and for my community. I open my eyes, my mind, my heart to the flow of life, perfect life, within me, around me, and through me. I am open to the will of God in me and now expressing as me. I surrender to the infinite good that is available to me. I accept this for each and every one of us in our community. And I bless all teachers of truth. And I bless our nation. Because I know that we are all inherently good because we are all part of God. And therefore I release all fear, all division, all negativity from my consciousness and only see the good in each and every one of us. And I see good and I see love. And God is revealed in each of us in a unique way. I bless this service, knowing that it is already perfect in God, and we are its instrument. And I release these words now into the law, that I know that as I speak, I am heard. And so it is. So let me now introduce to you our musical guest, Adam Smith.
Good morning to my CLF family. It's so good to be here with you on this fabulous Sunday morning. Thanks so much for having me back again. Today I'm going to start out with an original song called The City. Oh, stranger, would you like to hold my hand and find shelter
Well, thank you, Adam Smith. It is so great to have Adam back with us today, and he'll be back again during the offering time, but it was great to hear that song. Wonderful. Thank you, Adam. So let's take a breath together as we just move into this last Sunday of September. That's unbelievable that we are finishing up our theme for the month of the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening. You know, Ernest Holmes says now is the time for us to come awake out of sleep. And that's what we've been talking about all month. It's time for us to come awake out of sleep. And this is the time of the Great Awakening. Just waking up from a belief in a life apart from God. And that's what we talk about every week in one way or another. That's what we're looking at in our spiritual practice. One way or another is healing our sense of separation from God, which is the only thing that ever needs to be healed. And so we call that healing that happens as a part of, or as a result of our great awakening. We awaken in so many different ways and in so many different areas of our lives. And so today the topic is on a clear day, on a clear day, on a clear day. And whenever I hear that topic or that phrase on a clear day, I think of the song On a Clear Day. And that song has been around forever. It's been around a long, long time. I'm sure we've all heard it. But I just really began to think about how profound the words of the song are. On a clear day, rise and look around you, and you'll see who you are. On a clear day, how it will astound you that the glow of your being outshines any star. You'll feel part of every mountain, sea, and shore, and you'll hear from far and near a world you've never heard before. But on that clear day, you can see forever and ever and evermore. And when I think about on a clear day and the words to that, as I said, profound words, on a clear day, rise and look around you and you can see who you are. And, you know, ordinarily we think of a clear day as something that's outside ourselves when we're looking out. And it is a clear day when we can look out and there are no clouds, there are no obstructions, there's no fog, there's no smoke, there's no anything that would obstruct our view. There are no clouds, as I said, no clouds or anything, and we just get a chance to see the beauty. And it does seem that we can see forever. That's what happens on a clear day. But you know, every day is a new day, and every day is an opportunity for us to see a clear day and for us to have a clear day. It's our choice how clear our day is going to be, how unobstructed we are going to be, how we're going to make ourselves available to experience a clear day, because the clarity comes from within us. The clarity comes from our own consciousness. The clarity comes from our willingness to be available, to let go of those things that would obstruct, those things that would block, those things that would hinder, those things that would encumber in any way the clarity that we have. And so I invite you to just really think about that today, that we have a choice about the day that we're going to have. Every day, we have a choice to let this be a clear day. Let me be clear this day. Let my consciousness be clear this day. We have that choice. And so I invite you to just really think about that. Just really think about having a clear, unobstructed day. I remind you, let's take a breath again. That's one of the best ways to have a clear day, is to get started with taking a breath and just letting go of whatever we may be holding, taking a breath that reminds us to return to center. But when we start to think about what's happening in the world today, I'm inviting you to recognize that the seatbelt lights are on. The seatbelt light is on. The seatbelt light is on already because we are approaching turbulence. We're approaching turbulence right now, from now to the end of the year and maybe beyond, but particularly these next 30 to 40 days that we're going through, we're approaching a lot of turbulence. The seatbelt light is on. Fasten yours. Fasten your seatbelts. I've been saying that for months. Fasten your seatbelts. And now it is very, very important for us to keep those seatbelts fastened as we move through this time. And you know, the ways that the seatbelts help us is to have that clear day that I'm talking about, to experience that clear day, to rise and look around us and see who we are, to rise and look around us and know who we are. And so the ways that I'm suggesting to you today to have a clear day, starting out with just staying anchored in the truth. That's the first thing, staying anchored in the truth. Stay anchored in the truth. There's a lot of stuff going on, as I said before. We know the truth, and we live in a world of facts. We know the truth, and we live in a world of facts. Sometimes real facts, sometimes alternative facts, but we live in a world of facts. And so recognizing that because we do live in the world of facts, behind all that is the truth. Behind all that is the truth. And that's what we want to stay anchored in. We want to stay anchored in the truth. We can't, because we live in a world of facts, we can't always ignore the facts because the facts are in our face. We're living through them. We're living through them. And sometimes the facts can be really harmful. Sometimes the facts can be really painful. Sometimes the facts can be really anxiety producing. Sometimes the facts can be really scary, really scary, really scary. And the truth that we know behind all that is that God is in the midst of everything that's going on. That's what we have to keep in mind, that God is in the midst of everything that's going on. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter how it's impacting us. The truth remains the same, that God is in the midst of what's going on with us. And keeping that in mind helps us to walk through this world of facts, helps us to move through this time, knowing that we're not moving through this time alone. Knowing that there's always that power, there's always that presence that is right where we are. There's never a spot where God is not. And so keeping that in mind and tethering ourselves to that, aligning ourselves with that, with that presence, aligning ourselves with that source of our being is how we can remain clear, even in the face of facts, even in what appears to be the reality of facts. And on the human level, they're real, but on the universal level, on the spiritual level, the only thing that's real is God. The only thing that's real is God. And we have to keep that in mind as we walk through this time. And that's what the seatbelts do for us, our spiritual seatbelts. That's what happens as we move through this turbulence. Because what we're doing when we're moving through the turbulence, when we fasten that seatbelt, when we're moving through it, we're trying to get to higher ground. We're trying to get to higher ground. We're trying to get to higher ground. We're trying to get to a higher place, rising above the turbulence, rising above the clouds, rising above all the stuff that's going on, rising above the craziness, rising above the division, the divisiveness, rising above the unrest, all the things that are going on right now. We want to rise above that, because when we get above that, when we get above the turbulence, that's when we can see the clear day, and that's when we are clear. That's when we are experiencing the clear day, when we are at that higher ground. Clarity is an example of clarity, and clarity is a spiritual quality that we're always seeking. We're always seeking clarity within ourselves, and clarity. An example of that is the clear air that's at the top of a mountain. The clear air that's at the top of a mountain. Well, that same clear air that's above the clouds when we're on a plane is what clarity is like. And that's what we're always seeking, but we have to rise. We have to rise above in order to get to that clarity. We have to rise above in order to get to that place of being clear. And so as we do our spiritual practice, as we go through the facts, however painful they may be, however disturbing they may be, it may be a diagnosis, it may be the loss of a loved one, it may be a loss of a job, it may be financial difficulties, whatever the case may be. Those are facts. But one thing we know for sure, God is more than this. God is bigger than any fact that we can come up with, any fact that can occur. God is more, and God is bigger than any politician. God is bigger than any event. God is bigger than any pandemic. God is bigger than anything that's going on. That's what we want to keep in mind. And those are the affirmations that we want to use. I'm going to be recommending affirmations to you throughout this time today, because that's one of our 7 sacred practices, is using affirmations, speaking words of truth, speaking words of truth, speaking words of truth until they become a part of who we are, speaking words of truth until they become a part of our lives, speaking words of truth until they become beliefs for us, something that we can really believe. So speaking the word of truth, that God is all there is, that God is bigger than whatever this is that's going on. God is bigger than any facts. God is so much more. God is so much more than any of this. And that's what we always have to keep in mind. So those are the kinds of things that can anchor us in our spiritual practice. So I'm inviting you this week to start to use affirmations. We're always using affirmations. Everything we say, every statement that we make is an affirmation of some kind, but making sure that we are consciously using affirmations. We're consciously using affirmations of those things that we want to experience in our lives. The things we want to experience are the ones that we want to use over and over and over again. So making sure that what you're saying, what you're affirming is what you want to experience and what you want to believe. If you are feeling some doubt or some concerns and don't feel quite as anchored as you'd like to feel, start to use your affirmation. Start to affirm that God is all there is. God is right here, right now, right where I am. There's not a spot where God is not. There's not a spot where God is not. I am always surrounded by the presence of God. I'm always surrounded by the love of God. I'm always, always guided by God. And so when we can keep those affirmations in mind and keep stating them over and over and over again, it keeps us anchored in the truth that we know. It keeps us anchored in the truth that we know rather than in the facts that we see. Because those things change all the time. The truth that we know never changes. It never changes. And so when we start with the facts, then the facts become the constant. When we start with what's going on and start talking about the things that are going on in the news and the election that's coming up and the this that happened and the that he said and whatever she did, all those things, when we start that we're starting there with the problem. We're starting there with the facts, and we make them the constant because we constantly talk about them. We constantly are dealing with them. We're constantly worrying about them. We're constantly agonizing over them. And when we're doing that, that becomes the constant. The problem becomes the constant. Facts become the constant, and God becomes the variable. God becomes the variable. What we want to do is to bring it back to what we know to be true, that God is all there is. And when we do that, then God becomes the constant. God becomes the constant, and the facts become the variables. Because, facts change all the time. Facts change every day. They change moment by moment. All you got to do is turn your TV on and just see what the facts are for the day. The facts are for the hour. There's always breaking news about something. There's always breaking news about something every hour, it seems. Those are facts that keep changing. God is right here, right now, always present, always the same, never changing. And so that's what we want to be anchored in. That's what we want to be anchored in. So use those affirmations to keep you anchored in the truth that you know. The second thing I'd like to recommend that you do is take a breath right now. But the second thing I'd like to recommend that you do is live in the expectancy of good. Live in the expectancy of good. The expectancy of good. Expectancy is anticipation. Expectancy is openness, and it has some excitement to it. Expectancy, I have always called the big and. The big and. Expectancy, the big and. Last week when Reverend Sally was here, she said, we get what we expect. We get what we expect. And, I heard her say that and I went, yeah, that's right. I know that. But that's right. We get what we expect. And I moved on to the next thing. And then yesterday I had a chance to experience that. Yesterday, my daughter called me and told me that she had discovered what she had ordered after she discovered this wonderful pour over coffee maker. And it was the best thing since sliced bread. She just could not, she couldn't believe how wonderful the coffee was that she was making in this pour over coffee maker. We used to have pour over coffee makers a long time ago, and I didn't remember them being that good, but she carried on so about them that I decided that there was no way that I could let nightfall come without having a pour over coffee maker. So I ordered one, and it was supposed to be delivered to my house before 6 o'clock or by 6 o'clock. And so I was kind of waiting for it to come because I couldn't wait for this pour of a coffee maker to come. And 6:30 got here and it still wasn't here. I checked my email and I found out that it had been delivered. And they showed a picture of the delivery where it had been left, because I have specific instructions to deliver only to my front door. And so the picture that they took was not at my front door. There was a door that was not mine. And so I was so disappointed. So I called the company to tell them that my package was misdelivered, that it did not get here by 6 o'clock. It didn't get here at all because it had been misdelivered. The problem with that is that, the backstory of that is that I have dealt with this company, well, forever, but for the last 4 or 5 months, there have been a lot of misdeliveries. I've asked that things be delivered to my door. They deliver them to the mail room. Then I call them and they give me a refund. And then I ask that they be delivered to my door. And then they wrote on my account what the delivery instructions were. Now they write it right on the shipping label. And the delivery people still take them to the mail room. And so for the last 2 weeks, because I've complained so much, they've started to bring them to my door. And yesterday, I was wanting this coffee pot, this coffee maker, of course, that was going to change my life before morning. So I was really expecting, as I was typing in the order, I was thinking, I can't wait to get this coffee maker. But I was also thinking, you know what, they're probably going to misdeliver it. They're probably going to take it to the mailroom, or they're going to take it someplace else. And of course they did. So not only did they take it to the mailroom, but they took it to another apartment. But as it turns out, I called the company. I was carrying on about how tired I am of dealing with them misdelivering things. And the young man on the phone was so nice. And I have to always tell people that, don't take this personally. I'm just aggravated right now. So I carried on so about it. There was nothing he could do about it except wait until the tracer happens. And I said, well, just cancel the order. And then I thought, no, don't cancel the order, because if they cancel it and I get it and they have a tracer on it, then I got to go out and send it back. And so I just decided, okay, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. Just leave it, let it be. And I got off the phone. As soon as I hung up the phone, there was a knock at my door. And I knew that the person who had the package was delivering it to me. And I went to the door, and sure enough, there was my package. And I brought it in. I was feeling sort of sheepish about it, because the realization came to me that Reverend Sally said, you get what you expect. I expected them to misdeliver that package. How could they not misdeliver it? As I was typing in the order, I'm thinking, they're not going to bring this to the right place. They're not going to bring it to my door. They're going to take it to the mailroom. So how could it be any other way? How could it be any other way? I was expecting them to misdeliver, and they did. They lived up to my expectations. And I had to walk around and chuckle at myself, thinking, you know what? I don't care how much we know, our knowing is always showing. Because we can't just know for a moment. We can't just know sometimes and then forget other times. That's why it's important for us to always be present, always be mindful, always be aware of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, being fully present as we're doing everything, because everything affects everything. I'm sitting here putting it in an order, wanting them to deliver it to me, thinking they're going to misdeliver it. There was no way for them to do anything but misdeliver it. So I expected them to misdeliver, and they did. And that's when I began to think, you know what? I know better than to deal with expectations. Expectations are based on the past. The expectations are based on past performance. The thing that I wanted was expectancy. I wanted to order that with an expectancy of good. I wanted to order that with an expectancy that it would be delivered to my door. Ernest Holmes says we have to do our work in quiet expectancy and in calm confidence. We have to do our work. It is up to us to do our work in quiet expectancy. Quiet expectancy. And I'm thinking of something else, the joy that I could have experienced getting that coffee maker last night, because Ernest Holmes defines joy as the emotion excited by the expectancy of good. Joy is the emotion excited by the expectancy of good. I could have experienced joy if I had expected good, if I had had an expectancy of good of that coffee maker being delivered to me last night without any drama about it. But I didn't do that. I didn't have the calm confidence that the coffee maker was coming to me. I was expecting it to be misdelivered, and it was. So I'm inviting you to live in an expectancy of good. Always have an expectancy of good, anticipating good, anticipating the very best to happen. Anticipating good always. That's what we want to do. We want to be in that place of expectancy, of excitement, of yes, I know good is happening. I may not even know what it is. I just know it's happening. I know it's coming. I know it's here. I know it's going to be revealed to me at any moment. And so that's where we want to be in our lives. Live in an expectancy of good. As much as you possibly can, live in an expectancy of good. Live in an expectancy of good. But in order to do that, you got to be mindful of what you're thinking. You got to be mindful of what you're saying. You got to be mindful of what you're expecting. Because if you are expecting something to go wrong, it will. The law always says yes. The universe always says yes. If you are expecting, I know they aren't going to deliver it right. I know that this person isn't going to do that. The universe always says yes. It doesn't have a sense of humor. You can't joke. You can't say it lightly. You got to say what you mean and mean what you say and know what you're doing at all times. And so live in an expectancy of good. Always expect good. Good is all around us. And it is just it's just waiting to be revealed in and through our lives. But there has to be an opening for it. We have to be clear. This is how we get to experience a clear day as we walk through our lives, living in an expectancy of good. And then finally, as we take a breath here, I'd like us to keep the faith by tuning up every day, giving ourselves a tune up throughout the day. Keep the faith by giving ourselves a tune up throughout the day and using those affirmations as your tune up mechanism. Using affirmations as your tune up mechanism. Using affirmations, create your own affirmations. God is all there is. That's always the best. God is always it, all there is. I know that God is right here, right now, right where I am. I know that God is right here, right now, right where I am. I know that God is so much more than this. God is so much more than this. I am more than this. I am more than this. And then going even further and saying all of my needs are being met in each and every moment of each and every day. All of my needs are being met in each and every moment of each and every day. All of my needs are being met right here and right now. Right here and right now. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. You know, you can just walk around your house and just sing that. Things are always working out for me. You don't have to wonder about it. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And you know, if you say that over and over and over again, it just sort of lifts your spirit. Things are always working out for me, no matter what it is that's happening. No matter what it is that's happening, no matter what the facts are, things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And the more you say that, the more excited you become. The more you say that, the more you can feel yourself moving through the turbulence. The more you say that, the more you can feel yourself rising above the clouds. The more you say that, things are always working out for me. And saying it like you mean it, saying it like you know it, saying it like you know it, things are always working out for me. Guess what? Things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. I know that God is always guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting me. God is always guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting me. Let's say that again. God is always guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting me. Wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, whatever the situation may be, whatever the news may say, whatever doomsday predictions there may be, whatever is going on, God is always guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting me. God is always guiding, guarding, directing, and protecting me. But God is always right where I am. God is always right where I am. There's nothing that can change that. There's nothing that can change that. There is no thing that can change that. There's no person that can change that. There's no situation that can change that. There's no event that can change that. God is always right where I am. God is always guiding me. God is always guarding me. God is always directing me. God is always protecting me. This is what I know to be the truth. This is what I know to be the truth. Have those conversations with yourself. Use those affirmations for yourself and create your own. Create your own and continue to use them over and over and over again and feel the clouds lifting, feel the mugginess lifting, feel the fog lifting. Feel the clarity coming. Feel yourself arriving at that mountaintop, that clarity, that purity of air, that clear day that's at the top of the mountain. Feel yourself getting there. And the deeper we go in our spiritual practice, the deeper we go in spirit, the deeper we go in knowing the truth and anchoring into that truth that we know, the higher we rise. The deeper we go, the higher we rise. Isn't it amazing how that works? The deeper we go, the higher we rise. And the higher we rise, the clearer our days become. And so I invite you to know that on a clear day, you can see forever. On a clear day, you can see forever because you know that forever is eternity. That forever is that which is eternal. And on a clear day, we can see that which is eternal. We can see that. We can experience that which is eternal because that is our very life. That which is eternal, that which always is. That which always is. And this isness has maintained throughout time. This isness just is. God is. God always is. God always is. And whether we call it past, present, or future, God just is. God just is because there is no time in God. God just is in this eternal moment of now. And so in this eternal moment of now, I invite you to take a breath and breathe in that isness that is God. It clarifies you. It clears you up. Be anchored in that. Be anchored in that and have a clear day. Let every day be a clear day. Let every moment of your life be a clear day. Let's take a breath together as we turn within for prayer. Just breathing into this place of knowing God's presence. Just breathing into this place of knowing that there's but one life. Just breathing into this place of knowing, but there's but one breath, there's but one activity, there's but one mind. That one is God. That one life is God's life. That one life is my life right here and right now. That one life is a life of each of us right here and right now. That one life lives and moves and has its being in me. That one life lives and moves and has its being in each of us. That one life is that within which we live and we move and we have our being. There's nothing that can separate me from God. Nothing that can separate me from God because I am made in God's image and likeness and out of God itself. And so there's nothing to separate me. This I'm clear about. This I know to be the truth. And so it is from this place of awareness, this place of truth, I speak this word for each of us this day, knowing that this is a clear day for each one of us. We are clear in our awareness of the presence of God in our midst, knowing that God is always right where we are, that no matter what's going on in our lives, God is in the midst of everything that's going on. And so there's healing happening on every level of our being, healing happening in our body temples, in every organ, cell, tissue function of our bodies. The healing is happening. There's healing happening in our bodies of affairs and our financial affairs, releasing any sense of lack and limitation and opening up to the abundance that is God itself. That God is always raining manna from heaven upon all of us, always. The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to us, and we are claiming it right here and right now by the word that's being spoken. That every need is being met in each and every moment, because I know that God shows up as the thing needed itself, as the thing itself. God is showing up. God is showing up. And so I know that as we walk forward through this time, God guides us, directs us, uplifts us, protects us. We walk in safety and protection wherever we go, whatever we do. And so I know that a mighty blessing is being rained on all of us right here and right now. This word goes out to anyone needing a blessing, needing a healing, needing a prayer this day. All those who are affected by COVID-19, all those who are affected by unrest, all those who are affected by the loss of a loved one or by physical illness or disabilities themselves, all those who are affected by fires and natural disasters of any kind, loss of any kind. I know that God is in the midst. God is in the midst. I know that God is bigger than anything that's being experienced right here and right now. And that healing is happening everywhere. Everywhere, healing is happening. Healing is happening everywhere. And so as I open this circle of prayer, I'll just pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently aloud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each of them is, blessing and keeping them. I know that all indeed is well as this prayer goes out everywhere, touching everywhere, knowing that there's peace everywhere, knowing that there's love everywhere, knowing that there's harmony everywhere, knowing that there's healing everywhere, because I know that there's God everywhere, everywhere. This is a clear day. This is the truth that I know, and I give great, great thanks for it. I release this word now, knowing that all indeed is well, knowing that it does not return void, knowing that there's the perfect manifestation of the word that I give thanks for right here and right now. And so I just simply say again, thank you, Father, Mother God. Thank you, infinite presence. Thank you, Divine Mother. I simply allow it to be. I allow it to be, and so it is. And so let's take a breath together as we move into our offering time. This is a time that we give of our tithes and offerings here at Creative Living Fellowship. And we invite you to participate in this part of our service by giving of your tithes and offerings here. We ask you to press the donate button. You can click on the link that's in the comments or go to our website. There's a donate button there. Or you can use your smartphone to text to tithe. And we certainly appreciate your continued financial support of Creative Living Fellowship. Thank you very, very much. So why don't we now just say our offering blessing together? Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. And now here's Adam Smith again with our offering song.
Everything has its season, everything has its time. lovers belong where they can ramble. I've got to be where my spirit can run free. Got to find my corner of the sky.
Thank you so much, Adam, the very talented Adam Smith. It's so great to have you back again. And we know that you'll be back with us real soon. And so now let's take a breath. I just have a couple of closing announcements. I'd like to remind you of the very, very important special membership meeting that we have today, immediately following the service. Well, actually it's at 11:30. So it's special membership meeting on Zoom at 11:30 today. Active members, you really do need to be present. We need your presence there because there'll be important votes that will be taken today. And we look forward to seeing you then. Don't forget that the Zoom prayer room will be opening up at 12:30 today after the membership meeting. Also, you can always email the practitioners with prayer requests. Email at prayer at, let's start again. Email the practitioners with your prayer request at prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. That's prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. And also there's the congregant care team that's available. If you find that you need support from our congregant care team, then you can email them at care@creativelivingfellowship.com. That's the congregant care team that can support you throughout this time. Tuesday evening, we have the Tuesday evening connection meeting, and that's the time that we come together for either visioning or conscious conversation. This week, we're going to be having conscious conversation. We invite you out to connect with us. It's really a great time that we have to connect with each other, have meaningful discussions and conversations, and we'd love to have you join us at 6:30 to 7:45 on Tuesday evening. The treatment for supply is yours for the using, yours for the praying. That's our community prayer, and we invite you to continue to use it. It really works. This is not the time to slack off. This is a time to keep going with it so that you can remain clear and you can experience a clear day. Most importantly, remember to breathe over and over and over again. Remember to connect with each other. Remember to send those text messages, those cards, make those phone calls, reach out to each other, say, I love you, I miss you. We are still a community. Whether we are in a building or not, we are still a community of care, connection, and creation. And we love each other. I love you, I miss you. I can't wait to see you at some point. But right now we get to see you on Zoom, and I love that. Thank you very much for joining us. God bless. Now here's our closing song.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I